to escape this torture, I must dare myself to live. So distract me, please. Anything but that is madness. Who cares to seek answers? I'm merely a mortal attempting to avoid sadness. You claim responsibility for what I could not and give me something to believe in. Never did I claim to be a pilot who placed me in the cockpit but didn't teach me how to fly. No, I must decline. Degrade me to a passenger instead. Καλησπέρα. Good evening. Buenas tardes. Dobry wieczór. You're listening to the After the Dragon podcast, episode 4. Nice to have you back. A non-predetermined tale of navigating life changes after I, your host and patient Zero Mihalis, started a journey towards the unknown, hoping to be freed of my past cycles. This is a story of a human for other humans, inspired by the world around us, hoping to bring you, the listener, inspiration, to concern you and trouble you about things around you. So let us begin. Do you feel heard in today's society? It's a question seemingly detached from the previous episode's storyline, as well as today's episode will have a slightly different tone, but I hope you will trust today's train of thought equally as with the previous ones. For context, I've written most of these lines in mid-November 2024 from Vienna. 2024, that now previous circle around our solar system, was nicknamed a super year for elections by the UN, given the sheer amount of people that were called to vote for the new government. Half of the world's population elected in a single year. The results of such elections were plenty. But there was one worrying trend, one that has been all around us: populism. Populism isn't new by any stretch of the imagination. It's more of a return, with a vengeance, a more experienced, more complex recipe for disaster. After Republicans specifically won the US elections, I decided to invest some time learning more about Trump and his cabinet, J.D. Vance, and even Elon Musk, because these are the times we live in. And I did this by actually going to watch whole interviews on them, on Joe Rogan, on Fox, on mediums that the Republican narrative would not consider as anti-Trump, but as anti-establishment. True, colorless representations of their opinions. I analyzed the origin of their arguments, and they included plenty of hearsay, personal opinions, stories, and anecdotes, rumors even to throw mud on their opponents. Even so, to give props where due, J.D. Vance's speaking skills are noteworthy, balancing a simple narrative with strong articulation, clearer ideas and thought processes, and traditional values with a veil of modernism. For an example, he voiced pre-election that the normal gay vote can be won by the Republicans, whatever the normal gay vote means. But for Trump, I struggle. I honestly do. I know that he's an extremely successful person, and I'm not going to take this away from him. Actually, I could make a case that he grew to become one of the most well-equipped people to thrive in the modern-day US. But in terms of his speeches, he sounds like a repetitive, simply-minded speaker of grandiose promises. As a character as well, he has a track record of criminal cases, failed businesses, and closed bankruptcies. Nevertheless, that became the cult of personality that the US chose to back up this time. Why? No matter your stance on the above, let me ask you this. How lonely do you feel in today's society? How isolated? Because social creatures we are wired to be. A conclusion that we knew, even back in antiquity. We have Marcus Aurelius even mentioned that in book 5 of his Meditations, a book I'm recently reading. And in recent years, we seem to be more connected than ever before on a global scale, but with numbers that are so abstract we were never built to comprehend. That today's society can feel so daunting and draining. What does it matter if you can be connected with 8 billion people globally when you cannot envision such a number in your head? While at the same time we live in enormous concrete jungles with an unprecedented amount of people, yet with no clear communities to belong in. In a period where information is so readily available, while even 20 years ago it was scarce and invaluable, where people watch the AI rise in terror, fearing they spend years developing skills that a computer can now surpass in speed and precision so easily. Do any of these hit a little bit too close to home? Do they feel relevant to you? If yes, you're not alone. You're not the exception. You are in the majority. And is it not normal? People become frustrated in ways we never had before. Alienated like we were never created to be, and represented by a faux democracy that is supposed to represent them, yet it does not. It is in these times that populism seeds sprout, a societal weed that opportunists can cultivate and take advantage of. With leaders who seem to be behaving like the common people, having the interest of the simple people against the elites, being against the corrupted establishment that drove everything into ruins. And in these times, these easy solutions to pick seem, well, so easy, so simply logical to take. To trust someone to make these desperately needed changes for you because they say the right things, they hate the people you secretly hate, they give simple answers to complex problems in a way you can now understand. To trust a concept, an idea, to put your hope in someone else. Have you ever done that, dear listener? To put your faith blindly to a person for all the wrong reasons? How did that bad faith turn out for you? This episode is not about politics. It's about us living in turbulent, uncertain times. It's about us constantly fighting new demons that we never had to deal with in previous times. It's really difficult. So, next time you hear a simple solution to a complex issue, pause, ask questions, challenge it. Next time a person, an idea, or an ism, an ideology tries to convey you to believe in a promise to make the world a simpler, easier place, think of what you've given away in return. Because no matter what we do, life ain't that simple, sadly. Thank you for reaching the end of the 4th episode, and as I've explained in the first episodes, it's important to draw inspirations from each aspect of life. Given the recent events and inspired by my time in Vienna spent in training about conflict transformation with so many other talented participants in the sphere of politics, law, and beyond, I became inspired to give this one a go. For sources, I was heavily inspired by Mudde and Cristóbal Rovira Kaltwasser's Populism, a book I suggest you at least read a summary of, no matter your interest in life. I'm really curious to hear your feedback this time specifically, so please drop a message at After the Dragon or social media. Links are always in the description. And as always, drop a like or a review, follow the show on the platforms of your choice, and recommend the podcast to anyone who might enjoy it. The next episode, that will return to a more recognized format, is on February the 6th. See you there.